Hello, my name is Henry Moore. I'll be your host for Hercules, the man, the legend, the myth. I will guide you on the life of this demigod.
Hercules, hero of song and story. Hercules, winner of ancient glory. Fighting for the right, fighting with his might, with the strength of 10 ordinary men. Hercules, people are safe when...
Hercules was no ordinary man. He was the son of a god, and considered one of the greatest, if not the greatest heroes of ancient Greece. Let us begin with the birth of our mighty hero. Born in the city of Thebes, believed to be the son of Amphitryon and Alcmena, but in reality, he was the son of Zeus. One night, Zeus came to Alcmena in the form of Amphitryon. Alcmena would then have 2 children, one being Hercules, and the other child was Iphicles. Hercules was Zeus's son, and Iphicles was Amphitryon's son. Nearly a year old, Hercules and Iphicles were faced with danger. At the darkest of nights, Hera had sent forth a dynamic duo of her finest serpents to kill the young Hercules while he slept. The 2 serpents slithered into the boy's crib, which woke Iphicles, and he screamed, waking up Hercules. Hercules then sat up and grabbed the 2 serpents by their throats, killing them. That is how Hercules earned his name. Flash forward, give or take 10 or 20 years or so, Hercules was continuing to earn fame as he grew into adulthood. A Theban myth was told of how he helped the Thebans fight the minions of Orchomenus. Hercules defeated them and ordered their king to pay Thebes double the tribute. Hercules was given Megara, the daughter of the Theban king, as his wife, but during the battle, Amphitryon was killed in combat. That was a sad day. But then tragedy struck. Full of jealousy, Hera had driven Hercules to madness. Hercules was unaware that he was insane and killed his children one by one, eventually killing his own wife. Hercules eventually snapped out of the madness, and Hercules was devastated. Searching for purification, Apollo ordered him to go and serve King Eurystheus. Eurystheus told Hercules to go complete his mighty quest. It would take him years to complete. Hercules then set off to complete his first labor, which was to kill and skin the lion of Nemea. But the catch was, the lion had an impenetrable hide. Hercules tried to shoot it with his bow, but it didn't work. He tried to stab it with his sword. It didn't work. He tried clubbing it in the head, but it just didn't work. So Hercules then blocked off one of the 2 entrances to the lion's cave. He went WWE and wrestled the lion with his bare hands and choked it out. Hercules then skinned the dead animal and used its skin as armor because it was better than most metal armors. Hercules had completed labor numero uno. After his triumphant victory, Hercules was told by Eurystheus to go and smite the Hydra of Lerna. The Hydra was a monster that had 9 snake-like heads, with the middle head being immortal. When Hercules was ready to fight the Hydra, he guided the beast out of its swamp and shot blazing arrows at it. Hercules then grabbed the Hydra by its heads and smashed them with his club. But the Hydra had a special weapon. The Hydra had the ability to grow 2 heads back after one was cut off. Realizing this, Hercules had his nephew, Iolaus, use a brand to cauterize the stump after he cut a head off, so it couldn't grow back. After he dealt with the rest of the heads, he removed the immortal head and buried it under a great boulder. Then he dipped his arrows in the Hydra's blood, making them highly poisonous, which the poison was incurable to mortal man. But Eurystheus didn't believe this counted as a labor because Hercules' nephew Iolaus had helped him perform the task. For his next task, our mighty hero was ordered by Eurystheus to attend to a spot of big game hunting. He was to claim a sacred stag to Artemis with golden horns. Hercules decided to capture the magnificent beast alive rather than kill it, as any idiot with a bow could do that. Even I could. However, the deer was exceptionally swift, and it took him an entire year to capture it. Eventually, the deer tired and he caught it with a net. He carried his trophy back to Eurystheus. He had completed his task. Now this next labor might bore you. Sorry for my terrible pun. Hercules' third labor was to capture the Eurymanthium boar alive. The boar had mighty tusks that were razor sharp and incredibly fast despite its stubby little legs. He chased it from place to place, eventually trapping it in deep snow and binding its feet, carrying it by the tusks back to Eurystheus like the deer. Hercules' next labor was by far the most humiliating out of all of his labors. Eurystheus ordered Hercules to clean King Aegeus' stables in one day. No one could remember the last time the stables were cleaned. Hercules offered to clean it in return for some cattle. Hercules went off to clean the stables, but he had a genius idea. He would change the flow of 2 nearby rivers so it would run through the stables, cleaning out the gross muck and grime. But the king had learned Hercules was ordered to clean the stables, so he would not pay him. Eurystheus did not count this labor because Hercules did not actually clean the stables by himself. Hercules' next labor involved chasing some birds away from a lake. A group of Stymphalian birds were loitering around Lake Arcadia. The birds were robbing and killing the poor farmers. They killed them by shooting their feathers down upon the civilians. Hercules was given by Athena a bronze rattle with a terrible noise to scare the birds away. For his 7th labor, Hercules decided to go to the rodeo. He had to capture the bull of Poseidon. The bull had been sent to King Minos as a special sacrifice. However, Minos did not sacrifice the beautiful bull, and it turned into a ferocious beast. Hercules captured it and brought it to Eurystheus and then set it free. For his 8th labor, Hercules had to capture the mares of King Diomedes, which ate human flesh. He was angered by the way the king fed his horses and killed him, then proceeded to feed Diomedes to his own horses. Hercules could then control them. He took them to Eurystheus, then set them free. The horses wandered up to Mount Olympus and got gobbled up by wild beasts.
Hi, Billy Mays here for the Hercules hook, one of the fastest and easiest ways to hang just about anything without any tools, because it only leaves a pin-size hole. Whether you're hanging a picture or doing a complete room makeover, the Hercules hooks will save you time and money.
Hercules took a pause from his labors because he had heard his good friend King Admetus' wife had died. Hercules then wrestled death to save her and won, thereby saving her life. For his 9th labor, Hercules needed to order something from the Amazons. He needed the Amazonian queen Hippolyte's belt. When he arrived, Hippolyte gave Hercules her belt. However, Hera felt this was too easy and disguised herself as an Amazon, spreading the rumor Hercules had come to kidnap Hippolyte. The Amazonians attacked Hercules, and he felt Hippolyte had betrayed him and killed her. He brought back the belt to Eurystheus for his daughter, another labor in the books for Hercules. Now Hercules was on his 10th labor. Eurystheus told Hercules to capture the red cattle of Gyron. Geryon was a giant monster with 3 men joined together. Geryon had his 2-headed dog Orthus to guard the cattle. Hercules wielded his club and bonked the puppies' heads and killed them. And then he starts to herd the cattle. Geryon met Hercules down by the river and tried to stop him, but Hercules moved to the giant's side and shot 1 arrow with his bow and killed Gyron through his triple body. Hercules was on his way back to Eurystheus with the cattle. Passing by was Cacus, a fire-belching giant who waited until Hercules wasn't looking and stole the best cattle for himself. While Cacus disguised the path, Hercules had noticed several cattle were missing and saw a nearby cave. He went over to the cave and 1 cow mooed. Then he heard a response from inside the cave. Cacus had seen Hercules and blocked the cave with an enormous boulder. Hercules tried 3 times to climb above and around the boulder, trying to find a way to reach the giant. Eventually, Hercules breached the cave and saw Cacus. Hercules began the fight against the giant by throwing boulders and tree trunks at Cacus. Hercules then dropped down and grabbed Cacus by the throat, killing him. The giant was finally dead. Hercules then moved the enormous boulder from the doorway of the cave and dragged the dead corpse of Cacus out, leading the cattle to freedom. 8 years had now passed since Hercules had begun his labors. For his 11th labor, Eurystheus wanted Hercules to collect the golden apples of the Hesperides, daughters of the Titan Atlas, who held the sky upon his shoulders. Gaia had given the apple trees to Hera as a wedding gift. The trees were guarded by an immortal dragon with 100 heads that all spoke with a different voice. In order for Hercules to find the garden, he had to consult with Nereus, the old man of the sea. When Hercules found him along the shore and grabbed him, the elderly man transformed himself into a raging fire, a fierce lion, a snake, and a torrent of water. Hercules held him tight, and eventually Nereus yielded and gave Hercules the directions he needed. Hercules continued his journey, which took him to the Caucasus. There he found the mighty Titan Prometheus chained to the mountain and helpless as the mighty eagle of Zeus tore out his liver. Hercules shot the eagle with his great bow, killing it, then freed the Titan. In return, Prometheus advised Hercules to find Atlas and take the sky upon his shoulders and have Atlas fetch the apples. Hercules followed the Titan's advice to the letter. Atlas returned with the apples, but declared he was tired of holding the sky and would take the apples to Eurystheus himself. Hercules tricked Atlas into taking the sky back for a moment so he could put a pad on his head. Hercules quickly gathered the apples and left Atlas with his mighty burden. Thus, the 11th labor was complete. Now for the 12th labor. This was by far Hercules' hardest task. Hercules was ordered to enter the underworld and return with Cerberus, the three-headed dog that guarded Hades' kingdom. Now let us speak. Due to copyright infringement of the Mr. May Association, we will not be able to cover the 12th labor. We are sorry for this inconvenience. Now Hercules had finally completed the labors he had set off to do so long ago. But a confused and jealous wife had killed Hercules. She gave Hercules a tunic that was dipped in the blood of the Hydra. She thought it would make Hercules love her forever. Hercules then put on the tunic, and as soon as he put it on, his body would activate the poison in the tunic, burning him. The only thing that could relieve Hercules' pain was death itself. He built himself a funeral pyre and laid down upon it. No one was willing to place the torch and put Hercules out of his misery, until a man named Philoctetes did so. He felt sad for Hercules, and saw he was in unbearable pain, so he agreed to light the pyre. And as a reward for doing this, Hercules gave Philoctetes his mighty bow and arrows, which the man took to fight in Troy later on. As the torch burned the pyre, a flash in the sky happened, and a bolt of lightning came down and hit the pyre. A cloud descended upon the flames, consuming Hercules. Nothing remained of Hercules. Hercules had been lifted to Mount Olympus, where he would be immortal. Zeus had kept his promise, and Hercules would live on at Mount Olympus forever.